Okay, so we're about 5 minutes from our start today. I have recorded this session, so that is live and ready to go. And we will get started in about 5 more minutes. Okay, for those of you who have joined us, we have about 2 more minutes until we get started. Thank you so much for being here today. I see quite a few of you have joined us. Welcome. We're going to get started with the presentation promptly at 11 a.m. Thank you for being here early. It's always appreciated. Like I said, we're going to get started in about a minute or so, but thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Okay, and good morning, everybody. It is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am so excited about the opportunity to partner with Hearing Unlimited to provide this seminar today to get you informed about a few topics. Before we get started, I just want to talk about some general house rules, if you will, for our virtual time together today. Please keep your microphone muted. You do have access to the chat, so if you have any question, you can go ahead and type into the chat. We also have a Q&A box, so if you look at your Zoom settings, you'll see two little chat bubbles, and that is our Q&A section. So if you have a question throughout today's presentation, you're more than welcome to enter your question either in the chat or in the Q&A, and we will be sure to get all your questions answered. If you're not able to hear me through your computer speakers, or if you're having poor audio quality, please dial in at 1-929-205-6099, and the meeting ID is 856-172-459-84, followed by the pound sign. So again, that dial-in information is 1-929-205-6099. Meeting ID is 856-172-459-84, and followed by the pound sign. All right. So again, I'm so grateful for all of you being here today and taking this really important first step in your hearing journey. And namely, that's about gathering information and knowing what to do about essentially your hearing loss. So I have the privilege today of being joined by Hearing Unlimited, which is the clinic that we're partnering with today to bring you some information about how we hear, how hearing is healthcare, and what technology is available to you for you to have a discussion with your hearing care provider in regards to what would best be suitable for your lifestyle. So we're going to kind of be comprehensively overviewing quite a few broad topics, but again, this is the very first important step that you've taken today. So I want to acknowledge that I'm so grateful that you're here and taking this very important first step in learning about hearing loss and how we are able to really support you in your journey. My name is Karla Quinones. I'm an audiologist and I am the education and training specialist with Oticon. So throughout today's presentation, I will be guiding us through some of the content and talking about what Oticon's philosophy is, particularly as it relates to brain hearing. So really the ability to provide your brain with that information. But I also am having the privilege of being joined today by Dr. Malavite. She's the Director of Clinical Operations at Hearing Unlimited. So I want to turn it over to Stacy to introduce herself and give you kind of an overview of what you can expect at Hearing Unlimited. Stacy, go ahead and take it off.
All right. Hi. Thank you, Karla. Good morning, everybody. Thanks first. Like Karla said, thank you for joining us, for choosing to be here and spending some time with us this morning. We're so happy to have everybody. So, as Karla said, my name's Dr. Stacy Malavite, and I've been an audiologist for over 20 years now. And I've been with Hearing Unlimited for over 8 years. And at Hearing Unlimited, being the director of clinical operations, I help to oversee all 5 of our office locations. And it's one of the most important things about Hearing Unlimited is in the over 70 years that we've been helping people around Pittsburgh to hear better, we do have 5 office locations as well as a house call program so that we are always available, whichever area you're in, to get you the help that you need. We have office locations that are open 5 days a week, and morning, afternoon, and some evenings as well. So, we want to be there for what works for your schedules. When you come in to see us, you're going to get your hearing checked. We're going to do a comprehensive health history, and it's really about finding out what's going on in your life, your overall health, and how your hearing plays a role in that. And so, again, this is, a great first step, and we're so excited that you've decided to join us. And we're going to go back to Karla and see what's next.
Thanks, Stacy. So, yeah. So, also, I wanted to mention that at the end of today's session, an office manager from Hearing Unlimited will be reaching out to you individually within the next hour after the training to answer any remaining questions that you have and also to schedule an appointment with our doctors of audiology. So, we have the privilege of partnering with Hearing Unlimited. Oticon is one of the manufacturers that they offer. And again, we're so excited about the opportunity to collaborate to bring you this information. Oticon is a hearing device company that is available globally. We are also, of course, available here in the US market. And really, a lot of our innovation really comes from the fact that we spend a lot of research and development into developing systems that allow your brain to hear. And so, as we get started, we're going to learn about the interconnectedness between brain hearing and your overall health. So, for the beginning of our presentation, I will be going off camera, but still know that we're both here for you just to serve a little bit of our bandwidth. But again, you do have that chat and you also do have the Q&A if you have any questions throughout today's presentation. So first, we should get started on how we hear. And so really in this first section, we're going to be talking about, again, the interconnectedness between our brain and our ears. So our hearing is really a system. You have two ears and then the brain. The ears receive the sound, but it's really the brain that makes sense of this sound. And we want to support the way that the brain makes sense of all of this sound. So your two ears and brain work as a team to keep you safe, to locate where sounds are coming from, and to help you follow conversations. So when you are dealing with hearing loss, it's not just a matter of not being able to hear those around you, but it also can be impacting your ability to locate where sounds are coming from, and more so to organize sounds, which is what makes it so challenging when you are in background noise environments and having to trying to have a conversation with your family, your friends, or your loved ones. When we take a little step deeper and look at brain hearing and what we are talking about, it's really at the auditory cortex or the center of the brain that really allows us to understand what's going on around us in the environment. So, brain hearing refers to the process by which the brain makes sense of sound. And from some recent research, we know that the auditory cortex, again, that part of the brain that makes sense of sound, contains two subsystems. And these two subsystems take the sounds from all around us and turn it into something meaningful so that we're able to have exchange of conversations. The first subsystem is the Orient subsystem. This scans the environment and takes all the information around us to create an overview of the sounds. In other words, it creates a sound picture, and this allows your brain to get a sense of what's going on. This allows you to know where a waiter is coming from if you're at a restaurant setting, or know that a bus is passing behind you. The next subsystem in the auditory cortex is the focus subsystem, and this allows us to focus on a point of interest. And based on the sounds detected previously by the Orient subsystem, the focus subsystem allows our brain to choose which sounds to listen to or to switch attention when needed. When in focus, the sound becomes clear and easy to recognize, and the brain depends on its ability to recognize a sound in order to make sense of it. So, when we are talking about hearing care, we're really fundamentally talking about healthcare. And in these few slides, we'll talk about why it's important to take action. So, if you weren't aware, hearing loss is the third largest public health issue in America. So, it's the second most common health issue actually in the world. So, when we look at the impact on the North America, 40 million Americans are affected, and this can also have some other potential effects. Your lifestyle and certain conditions can affect your hearing too. For example, if you've worked in a very noisy setting a majority of your life, you may be more predisposed than perhaps the average person to perhaps acquire hearing loss later on in life, or it could be down to your genetics. So there's a lot of lifestyle and factors, not necessarily age, that really determines whether or not you may develop hearing loss. When we talk about hearing, fundamentally, we're really again talking about healthcare. Hearing has been linked to a variety of serious health conditions. According to research, hearing loss has been linked to conditions such as diabetes and kidney disease. And on this slide, you can see some other conditions that are linked to hearing loss. More and more evidence is coming out linking untreated hearing loss and rapid cognitive decline. And what I mean by that is potentially cognitive decline in the sense of dementia or, issues with long-term memory. In 2017, important research was published that showed that the connection between untreated hearing loss and dementia was very possible and real. The article was about how to prevent and manage dementia. The authors in this study concluded that dementia is not necessarily just a consequence of getting older. In fact, lifestyle factors may reduce or increase a person's risk of developing dementia. And in some populations, dementia is already delayed for a considerable amount of time, again, depending on these factors. The Lancet study classified dementia risk factors as potentially modifiable and non modifiable. When we talk about non-modifiable risks, these include such as genetics and other physical aspects, which unfortunately we can't change. So these just kind of live with us. But there's this other subset, which is 40% of these risk factors that are actually modifiable. And the most interesting part of this is the fact that because they are modifiable, they're potentially reversible. The Lancet study gathered existing evidence and calculated in the original article that more than one-third of dementia cases can be caused by these modifiable risk factors and might therefore, in theory, be preventable. So again, when we're looking at those 40% risk factors, some of those that came up in this Lancet study included exercise, staying socially active, not smoking or reducing smoking, managing hearing loss, depression, diabetes, hypertension, and also living a healthy lifestyle can contribute to delay or even prevent development of dementia. When we look at these modifiable risk factors by different life stages, we can see here that they're all listed out. The Lancet study in particular emphasized the need for early detection and intervention for hearing loss within all age groups. So, as we can see here, starting at midlife to late life, hearing loss is the number one greatest modifiable risk factor of developing dementia. Even at very mild hearing loss levels, hearing loss is documented to increase the long term risk of cognitive decline and dementia. And then, as we can see in late life, depression and social isolation are also identified as significant factors. Social isolation and depression can also be effects of hearing loss, given that perhaps you're not interacting as much as you once were before. And that isolation can lead potentially to feelings of depression. So, when we look at again this modifiable risk factor, hearing loss is one of the most important steps you can take into potentially reducing your further risk of cognitive decline later in life. What we know about hearing loss is that we know that not only does it affect your ability to communicate with your loved ones, as well as your friends and family, but also it could also mean that you withdraw from social interactions. It can put our health at risk if we do that enough. We know that there is a significant risk factor for social isolation when the hearing loss becomes too great that we no longer wish to participate or we find it too challenging to participate. So, withdrawal is certainly one of those effects as well that can come about from hearing loss. It's our belief at Oticon that spoken language should be automatic and effortless in regards to your understanding with our hearing technology. If you have good hearing and normal cognitive function, and if the listening environment is not too difficult, then you should be able to use spoken language as a communication vehicle without having to put any particular effort into it. It's only when you have some sort of impairment or if the listening environment is too difficult that you start to have to put a lot of effort into what you're saying. You may have already experienced this yourselves. If you've gone to a loud restaurant or a loud bar, for example, it could be really noisy and it could take a lot of effort to listen to what the other person is saying. And you might even feel very tired at the end of the night. And no, it wasn't that extra glass of wine. It's because you're working so hard to understand what's being said. So know that with our technology, what you can anticipate is a reduction in this listening effort. When hearing loss goes untreated, people may find themselves either consciously or subconsciously withdrawing from situations because they feel like their hearing loss is getting in the way and listening becomes far too much of a chore. And at Oticon, our goals is to try to minimize the amount of effort that a patient with hearing loss has to put in, whether they're communicating in realistic everyday environments or they're just kind of interacting, with others. So, in order to enable you to be able to have these conversations and not have to work as hard, our technology is really designed to be able to cut out some of that distracting background noise and really put the focus on those target speakers in your environment, whether that's the person directly in front of you or even that person to the side. So, this is all part of our brain hearing philosophy, and it's our way about thinking about hearing loss. So, when we consider how listening is work, conversations with friends and family should be enjoyable. We don't want you to work hard. Following conversations and switching attention should be easy and effortless. But again, we know that with untreated hearing loss, you don't have that effortless moment. So, let's look at some common signs of hearing loss. May seem that people seem to mumble. That's one that we hear quite common. And while that may be true for some people, it could also be that you don't no longer have the sensitivity to be able to hear some softer sounds in the speech spectrum, meaning that, some words may seem jumbled or very difficult to understand. So again, that could be certainly one of the effects of hearing loss. It certainly can be much more challenging to follow conversations in a meeting, in restaurants, or noisy places. So, having hearing loss, again, is not just a matter of not being able to have access to the sounds, but also the ability to organize those sounds. And if you remember, again, from a few slides ago, that focus subsystem really needs to be interacting when you're having conversations in background noise environments in order for you to make sense of the sounds in your environment and be able to carry along with those different speakers in those settings. You may tend to limit social activities because it's difficult to hear or communicate. So think about perhaps something that you used to enjoy or you used to do that you no longer do, perhaps because it's too challenging, or perhaps because your hearing loss again has become too great that it has become a very difficult environment for you to interact in. So, really, the goal with hearing aids is to be able to get you back in those moments that maybe you've shied away from in recent years. So, when the brain doesn't receive the correct details of sound, there are many problems that occur, and they were kind of illustrated on this slide. So, your brain receives less sound information, namely, you're not getting the full spectrum of sounds. This makes it harder for your brain to recognize then those sounds. So, again, this now speaks to your inability to organize some of those sounds. And then you're having to guess what people are saying, and that forces you to concentrate even harder. I've even done this myself for lack of asking clarification. I will just, answer the question and oops, perhaps that's not the way I should have answered the question. And I know that if this happens many times a day, you can start to become really frustrated, or even your loved ones can be very frustrated. So, this extra effort leaves less mental capacity for even remembering conversations. So, this certainly could impact our short term memory, especially for things that were being said, if we're not able to access that information clearly. So, brain friendly technologies, such as the ones that we have available at Oticon, can allow us to kind of handle that access to more information from sounds all around us. Having a hearing aid that supports your brain by delivering sounds in a precise and clear way is all the more important. And that's why we spend so much of our time in research and development in order to enable the features that are in a hearing aid, uh, give you the ability to really have the effortless conversations with all of those around you. And really, the end goal being supporting that brain. So, not only is it about accessing the sounds, but it's about supporting that short term memory, reducing your cognitive load, and not having to make you work as hard. So we want to help, you do the very best possible job that you can to preserve good cognitive function and have healthy aging for as long as you possibly can. So really our goal is to preserve good cognitive function and really give your brain that stimulation that it so much craves. So let's talk about how understanding hearing care as healthcare has helped Oticon do things differently. For years, our company has recognized and talked about how important preserving brain health is. And our brain hearing approach is adopted from everything from product development and verification to what you even see in our marketing materials. So it's really not just kind of a buzzword, it really drives our innovation, but also our philosophy. Everything that we do starts with a fundamental understanding of the brain and how it makes sense of sound. And we're constantly looking for ways to further enhance what the brain is already capable of doing. Even ourselves and other manufacturers, there's nothing quite like what the brain can do as far as processing. But our goal is to provide a good neural code so that we can let your brain do what it does best. And this way of thinking has led Oticon to break with traditional ways of doing signal processing in hearing aids, which is really why we have such a high satisfaction with our devices, meaning that, a lot of our patients that do end up and trying our technology tell us, I'm more aware of sounds around me. However, I'm not overwhelmed. And that's the goal. We want you to be aware of those sounds around you in your environment, but not in a way that's overwhelming and not in a way that's going to make you work really hard. So we create brain hearing solutions, and this technology is designed to support your brain's natural process. I also want to mention that we have solutions for everyone. We support ages 0 up to, all the life stages, even 100-year-old patients. So we have solutions available to meet everyone's lifestyle and needs. One of the most important conversations that you'll have when you meet with your audiologist or hearing care provider is knowing what is going to be most suitable for you and your lifestyle. And that conversation is so important because that's going to help determine which one of our technologies is going to best support you and your needs. So know that this is not a one size fits all approach. It's a very customized and personalized approach. Hearing is a complex system, so it's not as simple as getting eyeglasses and, just getting your lenses put in and being able to see more clearly. Hearing is an involved process in which you need to have conversations in order to have a best understanding of the ways in which our technology can support you. So, again, the most important facet of when you meet with your audiologist is the fact that you're going to be learning about what solution or technology is going to best support you and your lifestyle. Today, we're going to be talking about Oticon More. Oticon More is the name of our premium level device, if you will. It is the cold standard of hearing aids, but know that we have other solutions available. So, Oticon More really has been groundbreaking in terms of being able to give patients what they're so desperately missing when they are in these environments, when there's especially multiple speakers. We know that untreated hearing loss can make it difficult to follow and engage conversations. And at times, you may feel like you're being hit with a wall of sound where you are not able to really follow along with what's being said, or conversely, it's just very distracting. Traditional hearing aid technology, namely back in the day, what we call back in the day, utilize what was called directional technology. Directional technology essentially shifted the ways in which the microphones focused, with the intention being that it would focus on the target speaker in front of you. However, what we've learned over the years is that this method creates a restricted artificial listening experience that can sometimes feel like a spotlight where you have to look at the person you want to hear. And while that person might be easier to hear, unfortunately, you can miss out on some other conversations that are going around you that might be important. Oticon pioneered technology that gives you access to all the sounds in the environment rather than creating a restricted listening environment. Oticon devices scan the environment and then balance the sounds around you and push the noise into the background. And these technologies are patented and backed by proven peer reviewed research. So, these technologies have been proven by research to improve speech understanding in difficult environments, reduce listening effort, and make it easier for your brain to make sense of sound better than those previous approaches to being able to focus on that target speaker. And we continue to build on this approach with each new generation of hearing instruments to essentially lend you to a very good listening experience. So, what's next for hearing instrument technology? Well, with Oticon More, what we did is that we pre trained the system to know what sounds would be in the environment, and we did that through a method of deep learning. Deep learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. And in this training phase, we're able to essentially teach the hearing aid through experience what noise and speech is in any given environment, much in the way in which our brain learns about our noises in the environment. So, this experience based training is on board on all of our hearing devices. And what that lends to is that once you enter an environment where there's multiple speakers or background noise, the hearing aid is already primed to be able to adjust its settings to be able to give you the most crisp listening experience possible. So Oticon More really has been a revolutionary hearing device because it works again the way that your brain works because it learned through experience. So science shows we hear with our brain and not our ears, and we have learned that even earlier today. Oticon More gives the brain more of what it needs to make better sense of sound so you can get more out of life. And this deep neural network that's embedded on the chip, again, was trained with 12 million real life sound scenes. And you heard that correctly, 12 million real life sound scenes. So that when you go into the environment, you're able to, you know, very easily follow along what's being said because the hearing aid is already adjusting their settings. This new technology was proven to provide 30% more sound to the brain, meaning it provides a better sound picture around you for your brain, and an additional 15% increase in speech understanding. Both of these statistics are impressive because the testing was done actually comparing our most previous product, which was called the Oticon Open S. So with Oticon More, we've continued to innovate our brain hearing technology and actually have proven to provide real life benefit. So what you can expect with our technology is that have an ability to understand speech better, listen with less effort, and even remember conversations more. Another important aspect, again, to consider is when you are choosing your technology, keep in mind that or your hearing care provider is also going to be taking into account your personal sound preferences. We all essentially experience the world of sound a little bit differently. Some of us like more bass, some of us like more treble, some of us like a more balanced sound experience. So when you meet with your hearing care provider, know that depending on what your listening needs are, they're going to personalize the settings according to your lifestyle and your listening needs. So again, this technology is really designed to match your unique hearing profile and take into account your personal sound preferences. So the devices that we're going to focus on today is Oticon More. However, again, keep in mind that we do have other technology available that you're able to explore at Hearing Unlimited at your appointment. But again, Oticon More really makes up the gold standard of, our hearing devices in regards to having that technology that was pre-trained to understand what all those sounds are in an environment. This technology also gives you connectivity options. So not only does it have the best in class hearing solutions available, it also gives you options for connectivity. Now, if you're not a Bluetooth person, that is no problem at all. If you don't utilize a lot of technology, that's not to say that you're not an excellent candidate for our hearing care technology. However, if you live in a connected world, which, many of us do these days, we have a smartphone, etc., that we do have some really nice connectivity options for you to be able to seamlessly use those devices. So, with many of our instruments, we're able to offer you essentially Bluetooth connectivity. We are made for iPhone, iPad, and iPod, meaning that you can pair your hearing aids directly with your phone. So, whatever phone call or whatever music you're streaming from your phone, you're able to get the signal directly into your hearing aids. So, not only are they going to be an excellent medical solution for your hearing loss, but also going to provide you with a high quality stereo system for those devices that you are using to stream any of your music, for example, or phone calls. We are also compatible with Android phones or specific Android phones that have what we consider the ASHA protocol. What I would recommend is that at your appointment, you also discuss kind of what your connectivity options are with your hearing care provider so that they can best understand what it is that you'll need to do with your hearing aids and your phone, for example. So, again, we are compatible with certain Android phones. It's typically kind of the newer Android phones, but you do have, again, also that functionality with iPhone and iPads. And of course, there's an app for that. So the Oticon On app allows users to adjust volume wheels, switch between programs, and you could also adjust some of your programs even within the app itself. The app also offers a very popular feature, which is called the Find My Hearing Aid search feature, which allows you to be able to find your hearing aids should you misplace them, or if you're looking for them in an environment, it will actually tell you where the devices are via Bluetooth. So that's a really neat feature. Also within the app, there are some more advanced features. We have the hearing aid fitness section, which actually will show you, much like a Fitbit, your wearing time with your hearing instruments. So again, given that we know that your hearing care is healthcare, I know many of us wear trackers such as, an Apple Watch or a Fitbit to track our steps, but our hearing fitness app allows you to track your use time. So that's another popular feature that a lot of individuals enjoy, to be able to see, how long they're wearing their instruments, etc. In addition, we also offer a variety of connectivity solutions such as accessories or wireless accessories to be able to accommodate your lifestyle needs. We have accessories for hearing the TV better, for hearing one on one conversations better via our remote microphone. And we also have solutions available for landline phones as well as computers so that those sounds are streamed directly into your hearing aids. One of our most popular accessories is our TV adapter. So, this allows us to directly stream the audio from your TV directly into your hearing aids. So, if you're a person that struggles to hear on the TV or your spouse is desperately begging you to turn down the volume, we do have a solution for that. Our TV adapter is able to give you the signal from the TV directly into your hearing aids, in both hearing aids, actually. There's an really easy pairing procedure. And the great thing about Hearing Unlimited is that they'll set you right up. So they'll have everything kind of ready to go for you. So you simply just have to go home and plug in your device and be ready to go. If you have multiple TVs in your home, you can utilize multiple TV adapters so that you're always able to hear essentially what's going on the TV. So this gives you a range of up to 50 feet away from your TV to be able to get the signal in your hearing aids wirelessly. Our devices are also available as rechargeable. So many years ago, the only option for hearing aids was to change out a zinc air battery. And while we still do offer that, we have seen quite a significant shift into rechargeability. These days, we charge everything from our toothbrushes to our phones to our computers. So it only kind of naturally makes sense that we would essentially innovate rechargeable solutions for hearing aids. So we do offer rechargeability. There's a few charger options available as well. But the great thing is that with our rechargeable instruments, you'll get a full day's use off one single charge. It generally takes about 3 hours to charge a hearing aid. So after the end of a long day, once you're going to sleep, you can put your hearing aids in the charger, no problem. Within 3 hours, they'll be fully charged for you to take them out of the charger in the morning and move about your day. There's also a fast charge period. So if you forgot to charge your hearing aids, there is a fast charge period, either 30 minutes or an hour, to give you about 6 to 12 hours of hearing aid use. But namely, your rechargeable hearing aids should surely last you your full day. So this solution is easy to use, offers fast and reliable charging. The hearing aids automatically turn on when removed from the charger, so there's no extra buttons to push. And it also offers a discrete LED light in order for you to know when your hearing aids are fully charged. In addition to our default charger that you saw in the previous slide, we also offer a smart charger. Our smart charger offers 3 charges based on a power bank that's built in. So, this is a really good solution if you're someone that travels a lot or is constantly on the go. Or, for example, you're an avid hiker and you don't have access to a power source. Rest assured that we have a solution available if you are out without power and need to charge your hearing aids. So if you are someone in that category, know that our smart charger may be a really good solution for you. After you're fit with your new hearing aids, you'll typically return to your hearing care professional's office for follow up appointments from time to time. Remember again that this is a journey and it does take time to adjust to hearing aids. And sometimes we need to personalize even further the settings of the hearing aids in order to give you the best listening experience. There may be times when going into the office in person is not an option, whether that is due to weather, transportation, or illness. And keep in mind, this is not just due to age. I mean, even if you're, any age really at any stage, remote care is a good option, which we do offer. So if you are in that category and you're interested in that, know that Hearing Unlimited does offer remote care via the Oticon remote care option. So, in conclusion for today's seminar, kind of overviewing all the topics that we reviewed today, we learned that improved speech understanding can be achieved through hearing devices, even in the noisiest environments. So, keep in mind that we have technology that was built to really be able to help you in those very noisy environments. Our technology has also been proven to reduce listening effort over a broad range of environments, and we really want to motivate you and empower you to take the next step into your hearing loss journey. So, you've taken a really important step in the right direction today. So, before we conclude today's webinar, I want to talk to you about what you can expect next. So, in your next steps, you're going to again schedule an appointment. So, we're again, Hearing Unlimited will be reaching out in order to schedule an appointment for you. You're at your appointment, you will have your hearing evaluated. And then you're going to discuss treatment options. So you're encouraged to bring a family member or friend to your appointment, as we know that, that does lend to a lot of success. And here we can see all the locations available for Hearing Unlimited. So they have offices in Monroeville, Penn Hills, South Hills, Hermaville, North Huntington, and house calls at your home. There's also that remote option. The phone number to call is 412-244-5737 if you wish to call to make an appointment. However, again, we will be reaching out in order to make that appointment. And then here you could also visit our webpage. So we have come now to the conclusion of today's seminar. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope that you are feeling more confident about what next steps to take, and that this information will really empower you to take the next step in your hearing journey. So with that, I want to leave it open. If there are any questions whatsoever, at this time you can type your questions into the chat box, or you can type your questions into the Q&A box. We are standing by to answer any of your questions. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever at the conclusion of today's seminar, know that we could also answer those questions over the phone. If you wish to not have a question in the chat box, that's absolutely fine. We look forward to connecting with you.